Do you see those two in conflict? Does your family really not explain and not complain?
No, it literally is that. It's a motto. That's all it is. For well over a decade, probably 2 decades, the motto itself is a shield to be able to feed narratives, trading of information, personal information on family members, to take one down to build one up, and through unnamed sources, where there are no fingerprints left behind. So, again, one of the reasons why I wrote this book is every word in that book is mine. And I realized that especially...
What do you mean by that?
Because the amount of unnamed sources that have fed information to the British tabloids about me and my wife and my family...
You have a source
and
it's you.
True and not true. I am the source of that book. And the difference is that instead of hiding behind, unnamed sources, these are my words from my lips, from my mouth. And I understand, especially for British people, that it can be incredibly jarring to have my name to a lot of these stories. It is also quite bizarre because a lot of these stories in this book have actually been told already.
The thing that seems redolent when you read the book and you hear interviews, I get the sense that you're being honest when you speak. And being factually honest, as you say, these are all, you're standing behind all of these stories, but also emotionally honest. And one of the things that was sort of emotionally very affecting to me, even as someone who doesn't follow the royal family that much, I always assumed after the death of your mother, the two of you and your brother were lockstep. Yeah. You were these solaces for each other who went through this experience together and went through the rest of your lives shoulder to shoulder as the only two who could possibly understand what you'd gone through. But that is not the case.
No, that's not
here.
The case.
Are you surprised that people are surprised? Because people are surprised.
Are you surprised? Because that has been the narrative. I mean, look, there's 2 parts to this. One is, I think anyone who suffers from trauma, shock, grief, loss, which we all have and all will, that you have got to put on a brave face. And I think, to a large extent, me out there smiling, my brother out there smiling, us doing working engagements together, it looks a certain way, especially then when you have the British press, the Royal Rota, of which all of the royal family's information goes through that filter before it then goes global.
That's like the press pool?
Yeah, press pool, yeah. It's exclusive access.
Do you have to say it that way? Legally, do you have to say it that way?
I signed a disclaimer before.
Exactly.
So I can understand why people would think that. But I guess more recently, especially in the last 6 years, it is all the fracture of the relationship between me and my brother has very much been pinned on my wife.